Hello again and welcome back to March May's Midlife Dolly Crisis. You might remember a few videos ago I unboxed this gal here. So this is a ARGIGI Brigigi doll. She was considered a basic doll essentially because she came in what she's wearing now, which is basically kind of like a one-piece sort of swimsuit. She doesn't have any shoes, she doesn't have any accessories, she's got a bow in her hair but that probably doesn't really count. And she doesn't have rooted eyelashes, which is what the kind of the regular style dolls would have. So shortly after I received this doll, they started to tease images on their social media of what would be kind of the next releases for the ARGIGI dolls. And essentially it was going to be a 2-pack, and it was called the Parisian check-in. And essentially you would get 2 dolls in this pack. You would get a ARGIGI and a Brigigi doll. So I have to be honest, I was kind of in two minds about getting them, only because they were quite pricey, although you are obviously getting 2 dolls in there in 2 complete outfits. Look, needless to say, I got it, basically I ended up buying it. So I'm going to bring that on and show that to you now. So I'm just going to move Brigigi out of the way, and here we are. Now, I've had a little bit of an issue with the box on mine because when it arrived, I wanted to sort of check that it was okay. So I opened the box, and unfortunately, one of the dolls, which is the brunette on the left-hand side, was trying to escape the box. Somehow, and I'm not sure how because, you know, it is made of card, but the card had kind of ripped, and as you can see, it's kind of ripped around here. You'll see it better once I've opened the box. And she was basically loose in the box. So I did open it just to make sure that everything was okay in there, and it seems fine. So before getting them open, I thought we'd have a very quick look at the packaging together. So as you can see, the box obviously is a bit bigger because it's got 2 dolls in it. The dolls are arranged inside along with their accessories. We do have the logos down at the bottom, ARGIGI and Brigigi. And they're made by HUGUO.Ltd. The top of the box, it just says 11.5-inch fashion doll. If I turn the box around, so this is basically kind of the same stuff that it said on the previous doll that I unboxed, which is, you know, I twist, I turn, bendable arms, legs, replaceable hands, rooted hair. And then we've got a bit of a backstory on the back of the box there. If I bring this up, if you wanted to give it a pause, you can probably read through it there. The other information on the box is down the bottom here, and it just says, doll stand included, all rights reserved, blah, 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 made in China, 2025, HUGUO.Ltd. There's a close-up of the bottom of the front of the box there, just so you can see, and obviously that's the logo for ARGIGI and Brigigi, which is very sort of vintage looking. There are the girls in the box. So, I'm now going to get them out and we're going to have a closer look at them. So here are the 2 dolls in the box. As you can see, we've had a few issues with the packaging there. I'm not really sure how that happened. It is a bit of a shame because obviously, you know, I'd like to keep the box in nice enough condition that if anything happens and we need to sell them, I can. The dolls will obviously be out of the box anyway, so maybe it doesn't really matter that much. I'm not an inbox collector, I will obviously be removing them. But yeah, so that is inside of the box. As you can see, there's lots of accessories and things along the side here. I will just show you the card that came with it. So here we go. So it says the genuine ARGIGI certificate. This official certificate attests to the authenticity of your ARGIGI doll as a licensed limited edition collectible, bearing a unique hand-numbered identification. So this is number 56 of 110. So they only made 110 of these packs, which obviously isn't a huge amount. And I will put a link in the description box to the website, but unfortunately these have actually sold out, and they did sell out pretty quickly. So I do feel I probably made the right decision to just go ahead and get them, even though it did seem a bit pricey at the time. So that is the certificate there. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the first doll. Here is the ARGIGI doll from the set. So her face sculpt is going to be different to the Brigigi doll that I've already unboxed, and also the other girl that she comes with. You might see the visual reference that I got when I saw this one. Essentially, it's kind of an homage to Twiggy, in my head anyway. It looks very much like Twiggy, the hair's like Twiggy, just everything about her really is sort of nods to Twiggy. So, for those of you who don't know, and I think I've said the word Twiggy about 1,000 times at this point, Twiggy was a very well-known fashion model in the 60s, and she's still around now. She's kind of an actress, model. She's still doing a bit of both, I believe, but she was considered very kind of iconic, and I suppose it was that whole body image of being very slim. Hence the fact she was called Twiggy, because she was a very slim model. If we have a close-up of the face, and I will try and come very close. So, these ones have got the eyelashes, which are rooted. So I hope you can see those. Her face-up is very subtle. She's very pale face, but she does have blusher on her cheek, and she's got a very kind of nude lip going on. She seems to have sort of tawny coloured eyes. She's got tiny little eyebrows, just little bits there. You can see the detail there. She does have some nice eye makeup on. It's all very kind of like black eyeliner. I think she's got a kind of a silver or a grey on the eyelids there, and I will try and get some close-up photos for the end of the video. Her hair is blonde, and she's obviously got this kind of side part. This is very stiff, obviously to keep it looking, you know, in this style. They put a lot of product on it. I'd be tempted to maybe try and wash it out, but I'd be worried about not being able to achieve this look again. So I'm going to leave it probably for now. If we go further down, she's wearing this very cute two-piece. So it's in this sort of like olive green and, I don't know if that's cream or white, sort of checkered effect all over. We've got this kind of long jacket here, which has got pockets on the side. They don't seem to be working. They've just got this kind of flap to make it look like they've got pockets. So that's the pockets there. The arms have got a slight kind of puff sleeve going on at the top. We've got a little collar at the top as well. We've got these cute little buttons going down the front. But the only sort of piece of fastening we've got is a hook and eye, which is at the top here. So there's no fastening on the rest of it at all. So she's going to be a bit chilly, I would imagine, if it gets a bit windy, particularly as she literally has nothing on underneath. If we go further down, she's got a skirt, a pleated skirt, which is quite short, and this again is in the same sort of olive and white checker effect. And again with this, we've got a fastening on the back, and that is actually Velcro. So that is Velcro there. The clothes are very, very nicely made. They're finished off very nicely, and they've also got linings in them as well. Everything is very sort of in proportion, so the buttons are very small. The collar is really nicely made. Yeah, everything is really nicely kind of put together on them. It's what you would expect for the price point. So that is her. She does come with some accessories, which we're going to have a quick look at now. So first up, we've got this bag. So obviously this is called the Parisian check-in set. So they've both got kind of bags with them, and this is Argigi's bag. Obviously it's got her name on it as well. Again, in this kind of nice sort of olivey green colour, which matches the outfit. This is very nice put together as well. It's kind of a white pleather material. It's quite kind of boxy, and we do have a zip, and it will actually open. It's actually got a double zip. and if you look inside there, you can actually get quite a bit of stuff in there. So you could probably put like her accessories and stuff in. It kind of looks like a miniature of a bag that you would have had, I think. Just even the materials that they've used inside, it feels very sort of real, like they've literally shrunk down a kind of small suitcase like this. Obviously on the top we've got a handle, so it's got a loop there which presumably she can hold, and there's a ring there attaching this handle to the case, and we've got a stud on the front as well. This is such a nice piece, and it's quite substantial. It will stand up on its own, obviously, because it's got a flat bottom. So yeah, so that is the suitcase. It's not the biggest suitcase. Maybe it's just a kind of a weekend getaway rather than, you know, a week-long holiday. We've then got 3 more pieces. Now these pieces are in individual little bags, so we're going to open these and have a look. So the first piece is this amazing pair of sunglasses. It's silver. It feels quite substantial. It could even be metal. Could it? I don't know. It does feel substantial. It also kind of closes, or maybe only one side does. I don't want to break it. I don't want to jinx this all completely by trying to fold both of the arms in. But yeah, one folds in, the other one doesn't. So maybe one is meant to be there so you can kind of try and position it on her face more. It's a very kind of 60s shape. This kind of like round but a bit elongated as well, and obviously it's kind of wider, you know, where it kind of meets the arms of the glasses. They are see-through, so we should hopefully be able to see her eyes through there, and they are a little bit kind of shaded as well. So here she is kind of wearing them. It's a little bit tricky actually to try and get them around her ears, only because her hair is so gelled, but I'm kind of leaning them back on her. So yeah, so they're the glasses on her. They look pretty good. Obviously, you know, once I maybe have a fiddle with the hair and try and get these over her ears, they might sit better. But I'm kind of happy with those, and you can see the eyes, which is always good. So the last 2 accessories are here. So this is a pair of socks. So these are little white socks which she'll be putting on, and then over the socks she'll be wearing these very fancy shoes. So these are really nice. They're in a black and white monochrome. There's lots of stitching detail on them. You wouldn't get these with Barbie, I'm telling you that now. It's a sort of a fabric pleather, I would presume. Again, it's very shiny, so it's kind of quite like sort of like patent leather. So we've got a black sort of body to the shoe, and then we've got this kind of white detail which will go around the ankle part. And we've got a kind of faux fastening on the front. They are kind of heeled. So the actual feet of these dolls has a slight heel, but not like sort of high-heeled feet that Barbie would have. Yeah, so there are her feet, which have kind of got a sort of a slight high heel to them, but they aren't sort of like high-heeled feet shoes, so you wouldn't be able to put Barbie shoes on these dolls. So that is her and all of her accessories. So let's have a look at the next doll. So here is the second doll from the Parisian check-in collection. So we'll have a look at the doll first, and then we'll have a look at the stuff that she comes with. Okay, so I removed the rubber band that she had around her neck, and that was kind of keeping the hairnet on. And she also had one of those bits of plastic around her head as well, probably to keep the fringe down, and I've removed that. I think because of the product, you can see a few kind of white sort of flakes in the hair there, which is a little bit unfortunate. It probably shows up a lot more on her because she does have kind of jet black hair. It's in a really nice kind of style in that we've got this kind of long fringe at the front, and then we've got bits cut in at either side there, and then it kind of runs loose at the back. The back bit doesn't really have product in, but obviously I guess to keep the fringe down and these side bits down, they do have a lot of product in there. If we go further down and look at her face, so her face mould is different to the first girl's in that this one is actually a Brigigi, where the previous one was an ARGIGI. The differences are probably kind of more subtle than anything else. But along with kind of the different makeup as well, it does look quite different, I think. So she's got kind of full lips still. These again are in a sort of nude colour. She has a sort of a darker skin tone. She's also got an amazing kind of eye makeup going on. It looks almost kind of Egyptian, just because there's a lot of black going on, and we've got some white sort of streaks in there as well, kind of outlining the eye. She's also got blusher on her cheeks also. One of the things that is different to this girl is that she has got, I don't know if you can see, but she has pierced ears because she comes with jewellery, so that's going to be interesting. Also, similarly to the other doll, she also has got rooted eyelashes, or real eyelashes there, that hopefully you can see. So if we go further down, she's also wearing a two-piece outfit. So again, we've got this checkerboard pattern that goes right through it. The green of hers, though, is more kind of like a lime green. If we compare the two, one green is very definitely darker than the other. Also, the actual size of the checker is smaller on this one than it is on this one here. I don't know whether I'd say that that was more sort of yellow than green. It's almost giving kind of lemon, but also a little bit lime as well. Obviously the contrasting colour is white, but it's looking less of a contrast, I think, because they're both kind of like paler colours almost. If we have a look on the back here, so her outfit is fastened with press studs. So we have some at the back here on this top, and we've also got them at the back of this pair of trousers here as well. If we go further down, you can see they do have quite a flare at the bottom, which I do like. Again, very nicely put together, very nicely made. The top, I believe, is lined. Yeah, so we have a lining in the top there. And with the trousers, I think they might be partly lined. I'm not sure the lining goes all the way down. Yeah, so there's no lining kind of in the body of the trousers here, but I think the lining kind of goes just around here to the upper parts of the thigh there. I mean, they're not wearing dark colours anyway, so, you know, there's not going to be any kind of staining issues, but it is nice that they kind of took the trouble to give them lined clothes anyway. It's kind of interesting that they've basically used 3 forms of fastenings for the clothes on the two dolls, in that this one has got press studs and the previous one that I just opened has got Velcro and hook and eye. So let's have a look at the accessories that this girl comes with. So we're going to start off with this bag. So this is what she's going to be taking on the flight with her. I think maybe she's going to be dressing quite light for the rest of the holiday, because she's not going to fit a huge amount in this bag. It is very roomy, but maybe they're just spending a night somewhere and she's not going to worry too much about what she's wearing the following day. The bag is lovely. It's a kind of, it feels kind of felty, but also a little bit suedey as well, in that it's got that kind of brush effect to it. We've got these tassels on, which give it quite a lot of drama. So they're at either side of it, and we've also got some down the front there as well. I think it's meant to be kind of like a sort of a cream suede colour, and I think it's going to work quite well. It's nice when they give them a proper bag, but obviously, you know, you get what you pay for with these, and you are paying, you know, a bit of a premium for them, so you would expect everything to be pretty much perfect. So we have lots of sort of stitching detail here around the handle of the bag. We've also got kind of stitching details around the top of the bag, and even on the back here. I don't know if you can see, we've got some rows of stitching down there as well. Similarly to the last one, this feels like basically they've miniaturized an actual bag that someone would use, because it's so nicely put together. So that is the bag. So I've then got these for her. So this is jewellery. I haven't really had a doll that's had jewellery like this before. This is very kind of like integrity, isn't it? Where you've actually got earrings that you put in, and you've got like a bracelet that's actual sort of metallized. You don't really get this very often with Barbies. These are going to be very, very nice on her, I think, because they just have that kind of whole sort of 60s vibe about them, that kind of whole shape going on, and the fact that they're dangly. This is kind of like a gold metallic colour, and obviously they match the bracelet as well. With these dolls, the hands can be removed, so I'm probably going to have to remove the hand to get this on anyway, I would imagine. I don't think that it's got an opening in it, so that should be easy enough anyway. So that is the jewellery. I've then got this, which is, I think, a headscarf. In the pictures of her, they've kind of got her wearing this kind of over her head. But I guess, you know, it could go around her neck, or it could just be kind of attached to the bag as well, if you wanted it to be. Again, this is kind of like very nicely put together. There's stitching details around the sides of it there. It's a sheer sort of yellow coloured fabric, which is very nice. So that is that. That is, I guess, a scarf. We'll call it a scarf. And finally, we've got these white sort of strappy heels here. So again, they're not massive heels because, as you know, the dolls don't have sort of heeled feet specifically, but they do have a bit of a chunky heel on the back there. Again, these are very nicely put together. We've got like a woven effect across the toe part there, and then we've got sort of real buckles with a real sort of ankle fastening that's going to go through there. What I find with ones where you actually have to feed them through, it's very handy to have a set of sort of craft tweezers with you just to try and help you get that through there. But yeah, so there are the shoes there. So I am now going to get both of these gals in their accessories and we'll have a final look at them together. So here are our two girls here in all of their stuff. I haven't really managed to get the sunglasses to stay on ARGIGI's head, but as I said, I will try and have a fiddle around with her hair to try and sort of at least clear a bit so that I can get the glasses to go around her ears. As you can see, I have got the earrings on Brigigi as well as the bracelet there, and I will take some close-up pictures of them so you can see everything, all the little details. I've also put the headscarf around her head. I didn't actually tie it at the back. I used a sort of a clear rubber band just to kind of join the two bits together, and it seems to have worked okay. I think trying to tie it would be very fiddly. I managed to get the sandals on as well. As I previously mentioned, I did actually use some tweezers to do that. It was a little bit tricky, but once you've kind of got one in, you kind of know what you're doing. So it's not too bad. And I have had experience of putting on sort of these kind of buckle shoes on my Elwyn Wild dolls. So what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know if you have them. Let me know if you've done anything to ARGIGI's very gelled hair and what the outcome has been. Only because I want to know what it's like before I try it. I will put a link down to the ARGIGI website so you can have a look and see the dolls on there. These are sold out. I think everything's sold out at the moment, but obviously if you keep an eye on the website, they might have other dolls dropping at some point. And also I put a link to their Instagram as well, because that's kind of how I find out about them anyway, and they kind of, if they're going to drop dolls, they will put stuff on there. So it's probably going to be easy to try and keep track of what's going on that way. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please feel free to share the video if you know anyone else would like this kind of content. And I will see you in the next one. So until then, take care. Bye.